Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we've got a special episode for a special kind of guy. That's right, you all know him, you all love him. We're talking about Buck from BuckDoesIt. Now this car that we're doing today is going to be the start of the Cruda project. Somewhere down the line when he gets it done, we're going to do the finished product as well. Here's something that I've never seen before. If you look at the roof on this thing, you'll see that it's plastic. I happen to know that Mattel did this to create convertible versions of the Barracuda. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to paint the roof on this, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. In the meantime, let's get these pegs out. While I'm drilling, and so that there's not a big gap in the audio, I'm going to suggest that you go over and check out BuckDoesIt. You'll love it. Guy's hilarious, works hard, he deserves a sub. And he's a fella with a big heart. I also feel the need to tell you that I had this fun and intricate introduction animation for this video that, well, let's just say it disappeared off of my computer. There we go. While it's not something I was exactly counting on, I should have probably known that the shaker intake wasn't part of the hood. It's actually part of the interior, but since Buck's Barracuda actually has a much bigger hood scoop, it's gonna go. I really like that orange paint. What do you say we get rid of it? I'm not entirely sure why, but we've had issues with the goo not working correctly over the last few videos. Here, it just worked like a champ. What do you say we get it all polished up and ready for primer? You'll see later on that I'm going to grind off the edges of the hole for the hood scoop before I put the new one on. Here's a fun fact. That'll be the very last 3D printed item that I did on the old printer up to this point. You'll notice that I'm cutting as close to the hood scoop as I can. I don't know how far back the structure will go, so I want to be careful. I'm just putting it back together for my own gratification right here. And here you'll see I'm checking the sizing on the hood scoop. We're still pretty new to this YouTube thing, so naturally I forgot to record grinding off the edges of the hole for the hood scoop. I'm sure it would have been a fascinating addition to the video. Now that I've got the new hood scoop on, I'll run a bead of CA glue around the edges so that it'll blend it into the hood a little better. This project's moving right along. We're already in primer. Ignore that other car there. It's for some guy down in Florida. Here you'll see that I put a new hood scoop on it. I wasn't happy with how the other one turned out, so I replaced it. For those of you who are wondering, yes, that is rust oxide red. After just a little bit of research, I found that you can apply the paint directly to the roof as long as you don't touch the glass. I'm not entirely sure how that works, considering that the whole thing is basically just the glass. It does look pretty good though. I'm learning new techniques from Foggy every day. I still refuse to paint Hoosier on tires though. I'll leave that to her. From here on, most of the video is just paint matching. You'll notice that this video doesn't have a Tinkercad session. There's a good reason for that. I found some rims for the Cruda that were perfect. You'll see that I screwed up right here in the last painting session. I'm going to try to doll that up before I pass it off to Foggy for some of the finer details. I did notice something about this red primer though. It's very fragile. I found myself having to fix the red more than anything else. Man, that's really starting to look like something, isn't it? It's almost as if they dragged this car out of a garage that was so full of crap you couldn't see the car. Now, I'm not entirely sure why there are patches of different colors of primer on the car, but they are there, so they're going on this one. You see, here I am fixing the red for the third or fourth time. I mentioned the perfect rims a couple of minutes ago. Let's take a look at those. Normally, we create rims in-house. This build was no different, and I actually told Buck that we were designing the rims as we were talking to him the other night. That was almost the exact moment when I noticed that there were some perfect rims for it. I'll have to do some pretty serious trimming on the frame to get the wheels and tires to fit properly, but they should be good after that. Yeah, they'll be a little tight, but this might actually be a roller. Once I get them glued in, I can get on to assembly. I would like to show you something first. Can you see that tiny speck in the center of the screen right here? Do you know what that is? That's one of 4 microscopic decals that need to go on the car for authenticity. My poor old eyes aren't built for this anymore. What do you say we pass this thing off to Foggy so that we can get some of those finer details taken care of, and then on to the glamour shots?